You're here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, and we are talking about lemon balm in Witchcraft and Herbalism. And let me show it to you from the jar. It is gorgeous. It smells like vegetables that have been steamed. And it kind of smells like tea as well. Really good stuff. Lemon balm. This is some dried organic that I got from my bulk bins. And it's lovely. So, let's sit down and talk about lemon balm. And when we talk about it, we're going to talk about it magically, and we're going to talk about it in witchcraft and medicinally. So have a seat while we have a chat. Right before this video, I did a video on lemongrass in Witchcraft and Herbalism. So make sure, if you want to know about that, that you check out the video before this. And first, what I would like to say is, if you haven't seen my video on how to buy herbs from bulk bins, you have to watch it. At some point, I'll attach it, but all you need to do is search the Taxidermy Witch bulk bin herbs, and you will find out how I do my shopping. Unfortunately, I asked the store and they wouldn't let me film inside, so I just went over my receipt with you guys and showed you that, you know, this whole bag of lemon balm was like 35 cents or something. And if you were to order a jar of this or something like that from Etsy, it might be $5, $6, $10, who knows, plus shipping. So you can really save money by going to the bulk bins. You know, Whole Foods has them. In Seattle here, we have a place called Central Market. They have them. Safeway does not have them, and places like that don't have them in the same mannerism as like your metaphysical shop, your apothecary. Look up apothecaries in your city. In Seattle, we have like 6 or 7. It's amazing. An apothecary is an old school herbal pharmacy. I mean, they're one of the coolest places you can go. And it's like a metaphysical shop in itself for the herbal witch. So first, we'll talk about it magically, because this is a witchcraft channel and I am not a doctor. So any advice I give you medicinally is coming from books written by herbalists, doctors, etc. First, we're talking about Scott Cunningham's book on magical herbalism. And again, we're talking about lemon balm, the beautiful lemon balm. Surprisingly, it was not in here. I'm like, why though? So I don't know why. And it wasn't in any of these books either. Like, my pile of go-to herbal books that I like really go to, only found it in 2, and one of them was medicinal. So wow. So when we go to the back of this book, it tells us, you know, I always write down all the pages it's on and then go through and find them. So that's what I've done. So if you have this book, Magical Herbalism by Scott Cunningham, Lemon Balm, it says it's on page 67, 83, 128, 151, and 214. I have to tell you, there's a typo in this book. It was not on page 67, it's on page 66. So, page 66, first talking about lemon balm. It's in sachets and pillows, and I'm just going to kind of read this whole section to you because it's small, and we're in the chapter of divination. Alright, so sachets and pillows. Inhaling the scents of dried and fresh herbs can produce clairvoyant states. We're listening to Freebird. I love Freebird. Inhaling the scents of dried and fresh herbs can produce clairvoyant states. If you don't know what clairvoyance is, it's when you have the power of true sight. Like, you don't need your eyes to see, but you basically know all truths. And so, often operating best while asleep. Find a small pillowcase about 9 by 9 inches, or sew one yourself, which is what I always suggest, is to just sew it by hand. Or a machine, but sewing it by hand is so magical. Every stitch you make, every thread, every knot you push, you put your intent attention into it. Sew it yourself. Stuff with about 1/4 pound dried mugwort, more or less, to fill it. Now, where would you get that much mugwort? Because I don't have that much in my garden. That would take me all summer to grow that much. I'll show you where I get things like that. Where are you, buddy? Sorry, I hadn't prepared this bit. Okay, so here is a big jar of mugwort from Mountain Rose Herbs. And it is a lot different than my normal mugwort I grow in my garden, which is like a wormwood variety. But you could definitely, I use this in teas sometimes. It's got, you know, greatness to it, but it's nowhere near as great as the mugwort that I pull from my garden that I grow. And I've made a magical pillow with the mugwort from my garden, but you could certainly just get this in a 1 pound thing, or 2 pounds of it, online, and it's at your door the next day. Mugwort is one of the most, it's so good for witches, and for so many reasons, and I've done a video on it, I believe, so check that out. Alright, so fill it with about 1/4 pound dried mugwort. So that'd be about 2 of those jars, because that jar is almost a pound. Oh wait, 1/4 pound. Be about half the jar. Dried mugwort. Fill it more or less to fill it. Now sew up the open end. Place it on top of your regular pillow and sleep on it. So in this book it's telling you to place it on top of your regular pillow. A lot of ones I've heard put it under your normal pillow. I would say it's whatever you feel helps you best. The mugwort pillow induces clairvoyant dreams. Sleep on it for several nights in a row. Another thing that would help with that is if you guys have not seen my video on astral projection oil, and I made a tea as well, this would be something that if you made that mugwort pillow, put a couple drops of this on your third eye before bed, whoo, you will be engaging all of that goodness. So that astral oil video was really fun. And now we're on to talking about a good all-purpose dream pillow for very popular 100 years or so ago can be mixed with equal parts of lemon balm, costumary, rose petals, mint, and cloves. Construct and use as a healing mugwort pillow. So if you didn't have the mugwort, but you were able to get all these other things, you could do that. And lemon balm is one of those. And we know that because we've read that it is in the psychic section of herbs. Okay, now we are on to page 83, where here, oh shoot, you guys, no, 83, okay, so page 83. Here, and in this chapter, he's talking about love. It's a chapter 8, just on love. And he's talking about sachets. And this is actually... So here's a list of the most powerful sachet herbs to keep in sachets and love rituals. Well, lemon balm falls on that list, but I feel like I should read you the whole thing. With this list, you can make up your own charms, sachets, and spells, which we always suggest that you do. Take these herbs and then make something all your own. Watch a bunch of YouTubers do it and then change it up a bit. Start by changing a little bit at first and then by only keeping 1 or 2 things and making the rest your own and just using the inspiration. As powerful as I think my workings are, it's going to be more powerful for you if you personalize it. Okay, that had to be said. Do not compose anything edible from this list that we're about to read. Feeding someone a love potion is not keeping with the harm no one policy of magic. I'm going to reread that 3 times. Because this is really important to me. Feeding someone a love potion is not in keeping with the harm none policy of magic. And I'm going to read it one more time. Do not compose anything edible from this list. Feeding someone a love potion is not in keeping with the harm none policy of magic. Besides, many of these ingredients are poisonous when taken internally. You guys know how I feel about love workings, and one day I'll probably share with you why, but I would feel wretched if I did a love working for a client, whether it was for trade, for free, or for money, and they ended up being stalked or worse, which is something that I've seen. So, always, always, always try an attraction spell 3 times or more before you resort to something like that, or just figure out another way, you know? My advice to keep you guys safe. So here's the list of the things that we were talking about. And this is the list of the most useful sachet herbs to keep in love rituals. Apple, aster, bachelor's buttons, basil myrtle, bergamot, balm of Gilead, caraway, coriander, cumin, dragon's blood, elecampane, henbane, jasmine, lavender, lemon balm, ding ding ding, lovage, mandrake, marjoram, meadowsweet, orris root, periwinkle, pink geranium, rose, rosemary, southernwood, tonka beans, tormentil, vervain, violet, and yarrow. So, that is my little snippet on that, and please, please, please at least think about listening to my advice on love. Love is a gift from the universe, you know. Keep trying to attract it towards you, but it's not something that should be forced, you know. It could be quite dangerous. Okay, now we are on to chapter... Oh, you know how, you guys, I'm always telling you I like Kurt and Courtney and the Hole and Nirvana? I also like Neil Young and Leonard Skinner. And they're, you know, so I'm about the music, not about the politics. Alright, so next, when we're talking about lemon balm in Scotty's Magical Herbalism, prosperity incense, and it comes up again. Mix up with fairly equal parts. These are varieties of dragon's blood. Be sure to... Oh, that was the last thing. Forget what I said. And I've already read you guys this prosperity incense because I did a cedar video recently, and cedar's in here. So prosperity incense is equal parts cloves, nutmeg, lemon balm, ding ding ding, poppy seed, and cedar. Moisten with a few dry drops of either honeysuckle oil or an almond oil. Make on a Thursday during the waxing moon. Okay, so now we are still talking about lemon balm in Scotty's book, and we're in the chapter called Witch's Herbal, and it's just breaking down different herbs and talking about them. Now, lemon balm wasn't in here under its own category, but it did pop up under cinquefoil. And when it talks about cinquefoil, it talks about the uses. When it talks about the uses, it says, hang at the door as protection, using all spells of prosperity, purification, and protection. Cinquefoil represents love, money, health, power, and wisdom. And so is an all-purpose magical herb. Now here's the part about lemon balm. To make a good prosperity sachet, mix 2 equal parts of cinquefoil, cinnamon, cloves, and lemon balm, and add a whole vanilla or tonka bean. Do this on a Thursday after sunset during the waxing moon. Sew up into a rich purple cloth bag and carry to increase your riches. So, that is fantastic little sachet you could make. And lastly in this book, we are on to page 214, talking about lemon balm, and we're in a chapter called Your Herbal Garden. And there's a picture of a girl here. He talks about you know, like every witch in their craft should have their own herb garden, how much intention goes into it, how you can pick straight from the earth and put these things in your dehydrator and then, or just use them straight away, how magical they are when they come straight from the earth, in my opinion. And then, you know, it goes into selection of plants. And when you're doing a garden of love, here are the things that you want in that garden for love. Roses. The old varieties are much more suited to magic than the new. Really important to know. Research some old varieties of roses that have been in your part of the land for as long as you can figure out. Also, roses grow amazing in cemeteries. They're a great offering for a cemetery, the rose hips. Okay, the old varieties. Okay, violets, vervain, yarrow, lavender, rosemary, basil, lemon balm, ding ding ding, and lovage. So, garden of love. And then it goes on to say for a healing garden and a divination garden, and I will say divination garden just because. Divination garden would be mugwort, yarrow, borage, cinquefoil, wormwood, anise, and lavender. And then, and the healing garden, I'm just going to say it. Peppermint, garlic, onion, carnation, rosemary, sage, rue, thistles, and wood sorrel. And lastly, it says a general purpose garden, you know, for witchcraft. Rosemary, lavender, yarrow, vervain, hyssop, rue, carnation, mugwort, cinquefoil, etc. So I just wanted to bring that up because that is the last little bit that we have in Scotty's Magical Herbalism. Oh, and now we're on to talk from this book. And I have to say again, I'm not a doctor. I just do the research on herbalism and give it to you guys, okay? So we're reading David Hoffman's words from the Herbal Handbook, A User's Guide to Medical Herbalism. So when we talk about lemon balm, I believe it came up twice in this book. Yep, page 192 and 215. So on page 192, we've got a lot to say, and I'm going to say it. So we're in the part of the book where it talks about herb gardens and cultivation. This is really cool because not only does it tell you how to grow these herbs in the plant, I'm making a video, sweetheart. It not only does it tell you how to grow these herbs in your garden, but it also in this book tells you how to forage, what time of year it grows. If you want to use it medicinally, sometimes you can only pick it between May and September. I mean, there is a lot in this book. So if you want to, and you can use this for magic as well. Say you do have something that's completely medicinal. All you have to do is put your magical intention over that, and that makes everything become something more, something heightened, something magical, witchcraft. Okay, so lemon balm. There's no comparison between lemon balms grown on light soils in the sun and those which are grown in the most moist soils shaded in the hottest parts of the day. The latter have fresh green foliage with a fresh lemony fragrance, whereas the former have yellowish green leaves and a harsh aroma. Young plants are preferable for the same reason, and after 3 or 4 years, the old and the now large, uncrowded bushes should be replaced. So lemon balm will grow into a bush, and after 3 or 4 years, it needs to be replaced. Propagation is by division of the old plants, i.e. by splitting off pieces of the outer growth with surface runners attached, or by selecting young seedlings invariably to be found in the vicinity of the parent plants. As a garden feature, the fresh, green, free-growing new plants are so much more attractive in appearance. Lemon balm is also very attractive to bees, and for this reason is also known as bee balm. If you are a gardener, you need bees. So having lemon balm will bring in those beautiful bees, won't it? Bees are beautiful, and we need more of them in our witchy gardens, in our life. I believe that the bee energy, which we could certainly talk about from this book, which is awesome, spirit animal, bee energy, I mean, great stuff. So now we're going to talk about lemon balm. From a section of the book called Herbs and Cooking. So now we're going to we talked about how to get it. Now we're going to talk about how to ingest it, I'm thinking. So lemon balm. We're on page 215. The fresh leaves have a delicate lemon flavor as well as the gentle relaxing effects of the herb. Described elsewhere, it makes a good tea and is a widely applicable herb if you like the taste. As a source of lemon flavoring, it has been superseded by the introduction of real lemons. But the herb can be used in the majority of dishes where a lemon flavor is needed. That's great, you guys. And sometimes, if you put real lemon on fish before the cooking process, not right at the end, it'll turn bitter. So maybe you could put this on your fish during the cooking and then splash it with lemon at the end, you know. Just an idea of mine. More of this herb will be needed than usual, which is usual with most herbs because of their delicate flavor. Freshly picked young leaves may be added to green salads and fruit salads. Yum! Like mint in a fruit salad. Oh, so good. This would also be good in a mojito, or any kind of like water elixir that you make. Ooh, we should do some infused waters, you guys. Yummy. Freshly picked young leaves. A few sprigs cooked with chewed apple. Oh, a few sprigs cooked with chewed apples. No, not chewed apples, Jennifer. Stewed apples. Or rhubarb. Impart the flavor, which is pleasantly lemon without being acidic. Awesome. A few sprigs can be added to a cup of milkless tea in place of the more usual slice of lemon. They are a useful addition to potpourri or as a mixture of herbs for sachet pillows. The essential oil is used commercially as a constituent of various liqueurs. So if you're having a lemon liqueur, it's probably flavored by lemon balm. So interesting. Alright guys, and then, you know, these books also talk about an herb called lemon verbena. I don't have that, but when I get it, I sure will do a video. All my love to you guys. I want to show you this herb again. And remember to check out my videos on the astral projection oil that we made together. And we also made an astral projection tea, like a loose leaf tea. And here is that beautiful organic lemon balm. Make sure with the herbs you're getting organic, you guys, because the pesticides aren't able to be washed off from those delicate little leaves. So if you're using them in magics and not even ingesting them, those pesticides can really muddle the constitution of the magics. So if you have the extra few cents to spend on it, or even $1 sometimes for milk or whatever, it's my opinion that you do it when you can afford it. All my love, Jen the Taxidermy Witch. Thanks for coming back for another herbal video with me. Bye, you guys.